Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second episode of NAPX cover story. Today, I have the honor to have Emmanuel Gosman, also known as Fanta, on this episode. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for asking. So today we're gonna do a quick interview with you. You go ahead, ready to start?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Awesome, awesome. So we always start with some general questions, just so the community can get to know you a little bit better, and then we'll go to the more 2K specific questions.
Okay, sounds good.
So just let us know a little bit about yourself.
As you guys just heard, my government is Emmanuel Gossman. On the game, you'll know me as Fanta, FantaSZN, early Fanta. I've had a lot of names. Just you'll know me by different things depending on how early you join my journey. But for just short, I go as Fanta or FantaSZN on Twitter. I'm a 19-year-old gamer, prospect, whatever you want to call me, streamer. What do you want to know, like how I got into games, or what do you like?
Where you from?
Okay, so I'm from San Francisco, California. I was born in Denver, Colorado, but moved out here when I was very young. So I basically moved out in San Francisco. I basically grew up. My whole personality is built around San Francisco, even though I'm from Colorado. I love the Bay Area. It's a lot about me as a Bay Area. A lot of my slang has to do with the Bay Area. I'm just a Bay Area kid. I love it out here. That being said, everything I've done has been West Coast. Obviously, we know the main server is East Coast, so a lot of people play East Coast, but out here it's just been West Coast. I'm a West Coast kid. Play the game at the most competitive level possible. That being said, that's in East Coast with everybody else, and that's basically my gaming portfolio. Oh, and I'm a streamer. I stream.
Are you a Warriors fan?
Yeah, Warriors and Niners all day.
That's awesome. Did you play any sports growing up?
Yeah, I grew up playing all types of sports. I was pretty good at everything I played. My first sport was, I believe, soccer, then flag football. Then I went to baseball for a long time. Then I went to padded football in high school. And then after that, after I got like hitting drills with varsity and et cetera, as a little skinny freshman kid, that scared me straight. I was out of the football scene, and I got right into in real life basketball as well as video games. But basketball is kind of what I like matured and played in as a teen, like all throughout my high school, playing AAU, traveling, et cetera. I grew up playing basketball.
Gotcha. So how do you come up with your PSN ID, Fanta?
It's actually kind of a long story. For a long time, it was just like me and a couple of friends, like as just childhood friends. Like, some people have their little groups where they have something similar in their name, like call it a clan, whatever the case. So we're all just little kids, and everybody had like drink and then something. Till this day, it's my Instagram actually, drink fan a bit. There was people with like drink Fago bit, drink Sprite. There was a guy who was funny and named drink bleach bit. Like there was so many different things, so many different names, basically just drinks that people could think of. And I was just like, yo, bro, like we hoop together, blah, blah, blah. They're like, fuck, like, sorry to curse. They're like, freak it. Like you should join, let's do it. And then I was like, okay, bet. So it's like, I was thinking of just favorite soda. I was like, Fanta, drink Fanta bit. And that's just from there. I just grew up, started getting somewhat popular throughout high school, and then it would just be like a thing. Oh my God, is that drink Fanta bit? Like jokes and things like that. Like when I'd meet people that I knew from Instagram and etc. So I just kept it, and then when I went into gaming, I put my name as FantaSZN, and then for the rest is history. Here we are today.
Gotcha. What's you said Fanta is one of your favorite drinks?
Obviously I grew out of it because it's super like sweet to me now, but for a long time it was Fanta, but
gotcha.
Now I'm more like a pineapple all the way.
Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. So I know you stream, you play 2K. Do you have any other hobbies besides that?
I mean, when I used to play basketball, but outside of that, it's just to my bag, my grind, whether that be pursuing the 2K league, or whether that be YouTube, TikTok, just growing my social media platform. It's kind of just been straight at it.
Gotcha. So besides 2K, do you play any other games?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Funny. I'm actually like just a freak. I'm a gamer. I've been gaming since I was a little kid. I was qualifying for LAN events. I was 13, 14 years old, like playing with grown men, qualifying for LAN events. Obviously, I couldn't go because I wasn't old enough. But yeah, I've been qualifying for LAN events since I was like a kid. So coming up, I was just always on games, whether it be on Counter-Strike, whether it be Roblox. When I was a little kid, I was always top fragging in whatever I played. And so now obviously I get on things like OSU, and I'm really good at OSU. I'm really good at Valorant. When I went and played GTA for a little bit, a lot of people know me from. I was like a top shooter in all the cities. Like I'm like everything, kind of anything you could think of. If I pick it up and I'll put in time into it until I feel like I'm like up there. Obviously, 2K is what I decided to really sit down and be like leaderboards and be considered best guards and etc. But when it comes to just pubs, like I'll play a game until I feel like I'm just pub stomping and I'm just completely better than the average person I load up against.
Gotcha. What's your overall opinion about NBA 2K so far?
So far, there's obviously its ups and downs because there's always just going to be things that competitive players will dislike about a game because they always have to like cater to casuals to an extent, because that's really just what main people are, just casuals. People hop on every once in a while. So there's always just little playful things that the competitive player will always hate, like full bars and how many whites going, little things like that are just, it's always going to be something to complain about. But I mean, it is what it is. When you play at the most competitive level, it doesn't really matter what you're playing or what animations are happening. It doesn't matter if you love the game, hate the game. If you're a competitive person like me, I know at least I'm going to enjoy 5v5 Pro-Am, because that's just where it's like, if you lose, no matter how bad the game is, it means that that person's better than you at that bad game. And that doesn't fly with me if I'm putting all my time into it. So I'm grinding whatever they put down, I'm picking up. But 2K22, I'm enjoying so far. Dribble system is great on both generations. I've been streaming and playing competitively on current gen and next gen, and I'm loving it. So
awesome. So let's go ahead and start and jump into some more in-depth 2K questions. When did you started playing competitive Pro-Am?
2K20 was my first year of 2K in general, ever picking up 2K. I came from the Fortnite and the Call of Duty scene that I was talking about. Call of Duty scene, then went to Fortnite, and then now it's just 2K. So 2K20 is when I first picked up 2K and started playing stage and etc. And then from there, Piff from SSWY, they picked me up to, he kind of started paying for my entry spots. He saw my stream one day, he saw me in a live stream and stage and etc. I think one day I just loaded up in a Pro-Am with a bunch of friends, and then we were like, obviously all of us are stage players, so they were just, obviously I was going for 50 and etc. against all our friends, and we were talking crap, and he was just like, yo, like I pay for your tournament fees, etc. He brought me in a Pro-Am, and I was just playing with him at the hash. By the way, Piff is 40. So like this is an old timer at the hash. He let me pick up my stage friends on the team, always provided and like paid for all the team entries to watch us compete, join the Cord, like tell us what we could do better. So it's like Piff gave me kind of the perfect experience in a Pro-Am until he was ready for, he knew I was going to branch out. And now I hold that. I don't forget that. Me as a person, I'm very loyal. So it's like I hold on to everything that he taught me. And that being said, SSWY, because that's what was his brand that he went so hard for. We were always SSWY. Now that's just what I do. It's just no matter what team I go to, now I'm to the point where it's like I feel like I could be a team leader to every team I make, or even if I'm joining a team of league players, etc. I'll convince them. I'll be like, yo, let's like, you guys don't care about the brand name. We're gonna be SSWY, because so it's like I always put on for him, because you know he started it all. You feel me? So it's like now I play for SSWY and Fire Sticks. They collabed, so it's now we're playing on that game, and we have an Elite 8 tomorrow. So we've been competing well.
Awesome. That's a great story. You know, appreciate it. He bringing you over to the community.
Yeah, we love Piff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. My next question was going to be like, who are you playing with? What team? And then some of your teammates.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun doing this. So my current team, I love it. My past years, obviously, I've always played with, at least for 21 current gen. After everybody saw that I took Pro-Am serious after that league tourney. When I went off in the finals, I was playing with Crown, Bumpy Don, Pex, and Antoine Love. So it's like out of the 5 people, 3 of them made the 2K league. Don, Crown, and Pex, all 3 of them are in the 2K league. And I kind of came up with those boys when they're I got the draft spot. That league tourney, they got drafted. All of us got our draft spot together, you feel me, in the first tournaments. And I feel like it put a lot of our names out there because we swept through it. Didn't lose a single game through the whole league tournament and swept the finals. So just going from those boys, just like high names, and going into 21 and playing with people like Goofy, Dave Fry, Justin, or just awkward, just top players like that. This is my first time kind of taking a step back. And since I played with the top of the top and I played so many competitive 10s, top 10, like upper 10s, I like see the skill level, what is going on. I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to know skill when I see it. So obviously I took a big step back in the stage once I didn't get drafted. So to get my content back up, content's doing better than ever now. It's a blessing in disguise. I have a Facebook contract, everything's going good. And I got to build my own team. So now, sorry, I went on. Now I could get to talk about the good stuff.
So good.
My roster, it's me at point guard, Fiki, a dog, very underrated. People, he kind of like disappeared after 2K20. And people honestly didn't take him serious because he kind of sat behind Ant and he played with Ant season his shadow. Obviously, everybody know the controversy around Ant. So it's like, he never really got the exposure of just being a straight dog the way he really is that I'm seeing currently playing with him right now. And he even just secured us against a bunch of other great players that we just played last round. Fiki at the 2. At lockdown, we have Mike Swann, somebody who got drafted. Some people were saying it was a sympathy draft and etc. People have a lot to say, but that dude is dedicated. Obviously, I'll be the first one to keep it real with him. Definitely could work on just straight isolation defense, but granted, most of his whole 2K career was outside of this league that he just had. He's been delayed. He's been playing for West. He takes it serious. He's moved to East, I'm pretty sure, and just done everything to pursue 2K. So I love his dedication. He's very open-minded. I could talk to him. If I see something that's wrong with his defense, he's a lockdown, and he'll still take my word on it, my opinion on it, just because, I mean, I put so much time into the game. I know the animations. I know like the ins and outs of dribbling. I can tell him like what a guard's go-to move is, and he'll listen to me. And I'll tell him like, yo, I just told you this, and you're doing this. You need to fix up, like do this, etc. And he could take that criticism, and that's from somebody who didn't get drafted as me talking to a league player, and he could take the criticism and almost like value my opinion over what he thinks he's doing right. He'll give me the ultimate say so, and go with what I genuinely believe. And he kind of buys into what I think, and it's been going great for us. Super low ego player. I love it. So obviously, sometime I can work on my delivery, and this team that I have right now, they're okay with that. They fight through it. They're not mentally weak. All of them have been through like playing with terrible teams. So going from terrible teams to like being on a group of guys that were kind of stuck out as that one talent on a terrible team, and putting all 5 together, just low ego guy that know what it's like to be at the bottom. It's great. And then so after Swann, we have our power forward that is Irritated. We recently picked up Irritated, super underrated. Kid's a dog. He makes plays out the corner. Obviously with me, he knew he was going to have to settle down, because with his other teams, he was dropping 20 and etc. out the corner to make it work. Obviously with me, I'm a ball dominant guard, and he bought into like not getting as many touches, sometimes getting looked off if I don't make the right read, etc. And he's been super patient with me, telling me things that I wouldn't see out the corner. Even if I throw 5 turnovers back to back, he'd be like, yo, I'm gonna get you one here, yo, or Fanny, you got to tighten up, start giving me the ball shot clock. Like we hold each other accountable, and Irritated is super underrated dude, and he is just chicken, man, out the corner. He does not miss. Like, he always comes through for me. Yeah, and then for center, it's probably the most excited person I am to play with. It's my stage center, JP Capalot. So it's like, and we've just gone against Lord Beezus, Merc 2K, etc. They're running double power forwards, and he's performed great. Obviously, like the little thing, the rotations, making the right read. They're obviously making me think, they're making him think, because the whole PNR is stage guards, like stage guard, stage center. So they know that. They're trying to make us make reads. They forced me to have 18 assists one game. Watch JP make the wrong read over and over and over. And we're watching it in WR. So this was just the other day. In WR, for all the marbles, we're watching him make the wrong read. I'm obviously in his ear upset, and he just stayed locked in. And that kid is just a dog. He is gifted. He's just great natural talent for the game. And I feel like if you have that with chemistry, it beats like names any day. And I feel like we've been proving that so far, and I plan to continue proving that all pre-draft, is that you could just find some guys, bring them together that want to win, and can take constructive criticism to get better together, and you'll beat teams that have just all soup. Some guys will check out, high ego, like will leave a team if they lose or perform bad off rip. Like, you know what I mean? Things like that I just don't have to worry about with this team. So I'm super excited, and that's my 5, and I love it. It's obviously sponsored by SSWY and Fire 6 Gaming. So I have great mentors behind me who are rocking with me and trusting my opinion, wanted me to pick up some other people. And I'm like, no, just trust me. I want to play with this person, this person. They've been taking my word on it ultimately, regardless of their own personal opinions and what they think could be better. So I respect them for that. They're kind of giving me the keys to leading the brand and et cetera when it comes to P5 Pro-Am. And I feel like we've been doing what we're supposed to do with those keys. So I'm excited. That's my 5, and I love it.
That's great. So it seems like on this pre-draft, you wanted to be more like a leader. You wanted to be, last pre-draft, you said you play with a bunch of pros, and then this year you want to go with maybe some unknowns and maybe become that leader or more of a leader.
Yeah, because obviously I caught myself playing with those pros. Obviously there's times where I feel like I could play better if I would have just took shots I was comfortable shooting, but I was afraid to get yelled at by people like Dave Fry, you feel me? Obviously that Dave Fry has evolved me into a player I am today. He is still my friend, still hits me up on personal levels, like make sure everything's okay, came to my Discord, talked to me after I didn't get drafted, etc. And that's a 2-time 2K League champion. He has no business really caring about what I got going on. But that's just always been a great dude to me, a great friend. So it's like, and even somebody I'm close to like that, who I just know is high tension, I know he's going to hold me accountable. I'll overthink and not do what I'm supposed to do in certain situations. But I know myself, I know when I'm playing comfortable and I'm playing like a leader, which I should be doing with him. And I feel like I've matured into a player to even be able to do that with him and tell him exactly what I want regardless. I feel like I could do it now, but back then I wasn't really ready. You feel me? Right. So I was getting nervous certain situations, or if I was playing bad and he was upset, I'd kind of check out. You know what I mean? Little things like that I just feel like this pre-draft, I need to get all that figured out. I need to be a leader to my own team, hold my team accountable instead of being held accountable. Vice versa, having a team that's going to hold me accountable when I'm wrong as well. Because I'm hard-headed. I don't, like, get me wrong. I'm very, very open-minded when I'm sitting back, but in the heat of the moment, you know what I mean? I could be hard-headed sometimes. So having a team that fights through that and deals with it, no matter what they see going on in the court, is just special. So yeah, I'm super happy to take in the leader role, but regardless of being like considered the leader, because I'm hanging the ball, like everybody on that court's a leader, whether it be Fiki, Irritated, or Swann. Obviously JP's new to Pro-Am, so he can't really lead the team and tell like us what to do, but like those 3 keep me and hold me accountable and tell me what they see. And like, it's that everybody plays a role to being great.
Gotcha. So you were one of the top prospects as a point guard last pre-draft, and a lot of people thought you were going to get drafted to season 4. Unfortunately, you were not selected. Can you tell us a little bit of how was that experience?
It's devastating, 100%. When you know for a fact that you've put in more time than all the other prospects around you and etc. No matter how hard they finished or like great they played towards the end, you know for a fact, like I know for a fact, and I feel like even coaches themselves know for a fact, looking back at it now, who took those safe picks and etc. They know for a fact that I deserved it. I had the marketability to the highest levels. Like I'm pretty sure you could tell yourself right now, I could sit down, I could talk, like I kind of checked the boxes in every way, shape, or form that I could really think of. Obviously there was this time where I was just pulled a 24-hour, like grinding super hard on my stream, and I had missed the interview, and I guess word got out. People thought I just wasn't serious and immature because I missed the interview, etc. So I guess word could get out. So if there's one thing I could change, it would be that. But even outside of that, I feel like all the work and like hard work I put in all throughout the entire pre-draft like overflows that little mistake by a ton. And I feel like people are just gonna try to find the one thing they can and be like, oh, well, you missed the interview, you're unprofessional, so blah, 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 you're making teams overthink. Like, come on, bro. Like, no, teams should be overthinking if their players aren't playing pre-draft. They're putting minimal effort into perfecting their game, and their seasons are starting off terrible because their players are, their starters, retained players, by the way, people you're retaining, are not playing the game pre-draft and are coming in and learning the game on league builds and think everything's going to be okay. Like, it's playful. Obviously, there's people like JBM who've done it back to back now, but even then he still picked up the game and played his little wagers, etc. Even if he wasn't heavy in a pre-draft, he was touching the game and learning the game. And there's just some people who completely didn't touch it, who got picked up as retained, 6 mans, etc. there's a lot of positions where it would just make no sense for them not to take a risk. There's a lot of teams that had the capability. If you even do want to call me a risk, I personally don't think I'm a risk, because worst case scenario, let's say I'm absolutely terrible. You have a 6-man who can promote your band to a higher level than you've seen in the 2K league. Obviously, Chalk hit legend, you know what I mean? He had his hype, his fan base, he hit legend, and that's kind of the biggest hype when it comes to content creation you've seen in the 2K league. But I know I had an entire community behind me, not just hitting legend and having a burst of clout from like hitting a level. I'm talking about an entire community that like watches you for you, like regardless of what you do, like they're there for Fanta. They want to see Fanta. They've watched my entire journey. I had an entire community that even some people who would just not even take Pro-Am serious, but once I started playing and showing them the competitive and all the funness to it, they started watching it heavy. And to see me not get drafted, I feel like that was a huge blow on the 2K league. Because obviously you see huge influencers are like, no way this kid sacrificed his viewership, like played every day. I see him streaming 10 hours a day, 10s, etc. when nobody else is grinded, playing with the top of the top, the pros, competing with the pros. All pre-draft, I was beating pros, most pros. There was only like a couple teams that could keep up with us. And that was LAFN, the team I played for with Malik and Glow and Czar and what was his name? And Styles. So yeah, we were just walking all over all the league players and like lost like maybe twice to like top teams like Crown and Rigby. But those are people who are making deep into Final Four runs this year now that they've got drafted. You know what I mean? So those are top talents that we were losing to. And everybody else, it was kind of a cakewalk. So obviously it hurt. I felt like I deserved it. A lot of people felt like I deserved it. But it is what it is. You live and you learn. And I feel like a lot of teams did learn because they did feel like, yo, like it would have helped if we had a 2 that could score. Or even if you didn't even want me on the court, it would have helped if we just had a 6-man who could teach my point guard how to do all these moves. You know what I mean? Because I made it clear I was very open-minded to the coaches. I talked to them. I said, if I don't touch the court, I don't touch the court. I'll sit down and tell your point guard how to dribble, teach your shooting guard how to get the buckets he needs to get off the hash. Whatever you need me to do. I don't care if I have to stream on your page and just promote the brand while you guys do what you have to do. Whatever I'm there for, I'm with it. 100%, I'm in. So I feel like a lot of teams could have used that. It doesn't really make sense listening to it now, because when I repeat it, every time I repeat it, I'm just like, it just makes no sense why you wouldn't like take a chance on somebody so open-minded. Told people I'd play power forward if you need me to, because I do believe like, you know, I'm very hardworking. I feel like I've showed that. So if I needed to be a power forward, I feel like I could become average to above average at the power forward position, just because I can play the point guard at the position. Whatever I need to play, I'll go at it with 110% until I'm one of the best. And that's just how I go. That's just my mindset. So yeah, it hurt, it stung, but it's like, we're playing pre-draft this year. I feel like I'm showing to a lot of people what I could have been doing in the league. There was a lot of league players, top players like Dave Fry and et cetera, who were just, once they saw the league build and et cetera, they were like, dude, like Fanta would have killed it out here. Like, this is literally his game. Like, especially at the 2 or even at the 1, he would have been, even some people think I would have been competing with rookie in the year. Obviously, Saf had an amazing year and maybe probably wouldn't have been able to top that. Who knows? But it's like, you just never know, you feel me? And I feel like the game matched me very well. And I feel like a lot of coaches probably wish that they didn't take those safe picks, where those people kind of gave them the same mediocre performance that they got the last years, and they wanted to be safe and get that mediocre performance again, rather than taking a chance on a kid who could be great and change the whole franchise. So that's my thought on that. I feel like a lot of teams, it kicked them in the butt. So it's like, I don't think people would even think twice about making the same mistake this year if I were to go for it.
Gotcha. Do you think stage help you for Pro-Am?
Oh, big time. The stage guards have by far the best movement, by far. You throw a Pro-Am guard in stage, he's going to get put in a headlock. He's not going to be able to put buckets. Obviously, top Pro-Am players like Rigby and et cetera, like BP, top dribblers and et cetera, can move into stage and do what they have to do. But it goes both ways. Obviously, you can't put a stage guard in Pro-Am and they're not going to be able to perform because they're going to make reads. Like, they don't get the whole court to do whatever they want. So I understand it's vice versa, but 100% the scoring aspect, if you put a stage guard who knows how to just get their shots, like have the confidence to take all the shots they need to take, and if they have the mental toughness to sit there and get baited day after day after day until they start making reads, once you have somebody who could do both, it gets scary. And I feel like the last time we saw that was Radiant, and he was just absolutely unstoppable when he was in that bag of moving like a stage guard with the IQ as a pro in person and making all the reads, and he was just untouchable. So I feel like I could easily be the next Radiant when he was in his prime. When I really sit there, if I'm playing professionally and I'm perfecting my craft every single day in scrimmages, I know the sky's the limit. So stage helps a ton.
Right. We talk about, you know, this free draft, you know, you being more like a leader. There's anything else you're doing different this free draft that you think could help you for season 5?
I'm learning to honestly like self-worth. I put everything, I dropped in viewership a ton, just streaming Next Gen Pro, and I went all into it, just winging it, that I there's just no way I don't get drafted. No way. I have the skill, I have the marketability. Like there's just absolutely no way I don't get taken. I was projected as a top 4 point guard, tier 1 point guard. Everybody thought I was going to go first, second round, etc. So just absolutely not going at all was just a huge shocker. But it's like, I didn't know my self-worth, and I put it all into it, hoping that I was good enough for the 2K league. And now I'm kind of, my content's at an all-time high. My viewership, I just hit 100K on Twitch. My YouTube's, thank you. My YouTube's doing extremely well. My TikToks are doing extremely well. And I'm making well over base salary in the 2K league now. So it's like, it's really up to me as if like, do I feel like the 2K league? Because I feel like obviously outside of the experience and living expense and just life experience that it would bring me, I definitely feel like I could give a lot back to the 2K league. It wouldn't just be a take thing. I feel like I would give a lot to the 2K league when it comes to sponsorships, maybe in the future with me and the team, and marketability thing, the fan base, etc., that a lot of teams lack. I feel like I could give a lot more just as much as they'd be able to give me. And I feel like it'd be a mutual thing. So going into it, I definitely speak with more confidence and kind of getting what I want out of it, rather than just like, I'm just happy to be there, which obviously I am. I'm still very humble. Regardless of how that comes off, that's just confidence speaking. I'm always humble. But I feel like I've just grown a lot mentally from that experience, and like really looking and sitting back and just being like, you know what, like you're fine without it. And I feel like I've definitely accepted that now that I've seen myself do so good without it. So I was like, if you were to go into it, it would be on like kind of the terms you agree with the coach. You'll find a healthy balance between content and play style. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting there focusing on content if you're losing, because you're playing for enough money to change each other's lives. That comes first at the end of the day. But like, if everything's going well, there should definitely be an agreement with the coach where I should be able to still get my content creation out there and continue to grow as a brand, just for the future, promote a team, have a team grow and be the biggest team in the league, etc. Whatever it may be, like other sponsorships with Elgato and like BenQ and all types of other gaming companies, you know what I mean? Just like really getting into esports. And I feel like 2K League is definitely not the highest when it comes to being taken serious as a straight competitive esport, as in like Call of Duty League and things like that. But I feel like, who knows, like it could just be one spark of just one person taking it serious and uploading, because there's not been not a single huge content creator has went to the league and sat there and streamed with thousands of viewers while in the league, recorded vlogs. Obviously, there's been pro-am players who have recorded vlogs and etc., but it doesn't get no views. Nobody really sees it. So having the platform to really put on for the 2K League and show how great it is, show the nice living spaces that they provide to their players. Because obviously I'm cool with people that are in the 2K League. So I've been to some of the apartments that those guys have, and super nice. They treat their players extremely well. So just being able to show that aspect to kids out there, I feel like it'll bring a whole new perspective and a whole new audience to wanting to grind and make the 2K League. And that means more sponsorships, etc. The league can grow, it can pay more. And I feel like the sky's the limit for the league, because at the end of the day, it's NBA 2K. And it's a huge game, and it could definitely be up there when it comes to esports. It just has to fix up on little things. And like, to be blunt, there's kind of like the snub situation I just had, like things like that. Like it's too much talent out there that is just missing out for safe picks and etc. Obviously, it's gotten way better since the past when it comes to safe picks and things like that. But getting the league to the most competitive atmosphere possible, and even probably adding subs and etc., like a real NBA team would do. You know what I mean? Like the sky's the limit for the 2K League. There's so many things they can do, and I would love to be a part of it and like really help it take off. If that's what I decide to do, if I could come into an agreement with the right person or team.
And yeah, definitely the league is just, scratching the surface. It still has a lot of growth and it seems also the league is also picking up on the content part.
Yeah.
Season 4, we saw more segments created by the league and things like that. So it seems that they're also picking up on that content.
Yeah.
Just needed for it to grow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So what are some of the we kind of talked about it in our discussion we had just a couple of minutes ago, but what do you think is the most valuable thing you could potentially bring to an NBA 2K League team?
Just I feel like the support that I bring to a team would off rip just be it'd be great. You'd have an entire stage community finally looking at the 2K League. Who knows how many people will sit there and be like, oh, you know what, Fantasy Team is playing. Let me go tune in and see how it's going. You know what I mean? IRL sitting there yelling across like stage when it goes back to IRL, seeing people yell across from each other. It might be appealing to stage people and make them want to go for it. And they feel like, oh, I feel like it did take a big blow on them because they saw me put in so much work in. Let's say you're just a kid looking up to me, like in that type of like reality. Let's say you're a kid looking up to somebody and they're going at it and you feel like they're doing everything right. And if you see them not get drafted, I feel like that could be very demotivating to the people who looked up to me and be like, wow, well, if he couldn't do it and he did all that and he won all this pre-draft, like there's no way I can make it. You know what I mean? Like there's just be like, oh, the league's BS. Like they pick friends, whatever the case. So it's like that I feel like that's a big blow. But things like that, seeing if like I did get in and I was happy and I was uploading content and blah, 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 it would also show other content creators like, yo, he's getting his content out while he's still in there. Maybe the 2K League isn't a bad idea. He's getting all these sponsorships, obviously, because at the end of the day, regardless of if the league salary, the base salary isn't as much as you're making, there's just limitless connections in the organization. At the end of the day, you're verified. You have a check mark. You're working for an NBA team. You know what I mean? Like with the right person and the right marketability, who knows who you could reach out to and get cool with and talk to. And you know what I mean? It's just like you could get sponsored by like real teams. You see like FaZe is starting to promote. I think one of the 2K leagues I saw FaZe promoting, and just things like that. It's just like there's so many like branches that could be pulled together to where it just absolutely takes off. And I feel like if there's anybody that can or there is to take a chance on, so things like that can start unraveling, I feel like I could definitely be the one to help a team get into that.
I definitely see that you had the right mindset overall. Like you're seeing the big picture behind too, because it's not just getting drafted into the league. There's, like you said, many opportunities that they're out there, and for some reason, some of the league players are not maximizing those opportunities. And
because it's kind of looked at as like a final destination. A lot of people do settle for mediocrity. A lot of people are okay with not making the playoffs because they're making their base salary. And obviously like 2,500 every 2 weeks, 5,000 a month isn't too bad for a lot. Like for especially that's was like 30K within 6 months, you know, like that's a good amount of money, and that's life-changing for a lot of people that didn't come from much. So a lot of people can get comfortable with that. But me personally, I've seen that money. I've seen more than it. So it's like, it's not about the money. It's really just about the bigger picture and like all the what ifs that you would not be able to obtain if you weren't in the league. Obviously over time you could get that check mark, but that's with the 100K followers and et cetera. You can get that check mark right away. You start talking to people, you look a lot more professional. Just so many other marketing things go into that the 2K League could help you with. And I feel like the people are there. I feel like the resources are there as well. I feel like it just needs the right person to really go in and take advantage of it to the fullest. And you know what I mean? Because I even see the 2K League. Obviously, I have other content creator friends who they'll pay them to sit there and watch party the streams and promote the streams. And I feel like, and I have content creator friends that don't even take it serious and kind of half-ass it and things like that. And I'm just like, bro, like, who knows? What if you would really put all your effort into promoting it and you did extremely well and they hit you up to do a land event, like things like that. You know what I mean? Just like people miss out on that, just settling for the mediocre, settling for the check that like somebody's able to give them. But I feel like there's a lot of great people in it who know a lot of great people. And there's just, if you wanted to be great and you winning championships while promoting and doing all these other things, the sky's the limit. And I genuinely do believe that. So that's how I feel about that. So a lot of people just settle for mediocrity, and I want to be like great.
Gotcha. So we touched a little bit on the 6-man role. How do you feel about that? If you were
I've been open to it, regardless of my personal feelings. If I feel like I'm better than 1 through 5, if I was a better lock center, it doesn't matter. Like if the coach, it's at the end of the day, coach is coach. Like I came up from a competitive sports background. So it's like, regardless of what you feel like, at the end of the day, you respect your coach. If your coach thinks that and your coach, like that's what he wants to do with his organization, you shut up and you deal with it. You can do things like request trades and etc. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you feel like, if I didn't like the coach and I felt like I wasn't getting what I deserved, like obviously I wouldn't be toxic and just demanding to leave, you know what I mean? But it's like things like that where I could be like, okay, well, I'd have no problem with you putting me up if you feel like I'm not the best fit. I have no problem with you putting me up on a trade block and seeing what you could pull in and etc. Things like that. Like, I'm very open to it. Even if I sit there and we don't make playoffs, even though I feel like I'm better, if that's what it is, that's what it is. At the end of the day, I'm still doing my marketing. And I feel like if I'm going to be a six man, and I'm obviously not slaving in scrims like the starting five, if you have what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? If you have no intention of playing me, I feel like then I definitely think a six man would be kind of perfect to where I could sit back, do my content, show the traveling, show the land events, even if it's from a six man perspective, the practice, the facilities, all the like the what's the word I'm looking, benefits that the league can bring you, like things like that. That's what I have to do. That's what I have to do. I'm open to it. So the six man role really wouldn't bother me at all, because it's a win-win, regardless if I'm slaving scrimmages and I barely have any time for my content, but I'm trying to be great and I'm trying to make all these like playoff runs and etc. Like that's content at the end of the day that I'm going to be able to do. I just have to put in that much more extra work. But if it is a six man role to where I'm not needed and the team's doing great and I'm just there to promote and do etc., like it's fun. At the end of the day, your housing and things are paid for. You could just focus on being you and like growing as a person. Obviously, I still live with my mom and things like that. So it's like you're on your own. It's time to like be an adult, have your own, like it's just a life lesson. And I feel like it's just an opportunity I'd love to have. So, or whatever it may be, I'm all for it.
No, so gotcha. So if you were to pick a all-time starting five from the NBA 2K League, who would those five be?
All time, like all of them in their prime.
Yeah. So from the 2K League, who will be those five?
Okay, so like prime this person, and people that have been in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, not including myself, obviously.
Not including
just
yourself.
all time. Okay, so my all time would have to be obviously. People could say JBM, you know what I mean, because he's back-to-back champion, but I do feel like he has great people behind him. And I feel like without those great people, who knows if he could go and win with like, let's say the Pacers, if he would go and win that chip with the Pacers team, like you just never know. He had a great team behind him. I know Dave Fry's top two Dave Fry's top two, you know, Awkward's top two, like just a great team behind him. Even B Rich is a dog, Nudini's a dog, and they had LeBron at six man, and that's just a great player that could easily start on another team. So they were just souped. Yes. So I would, instead of JVN, I'd have to go Ethan, prime Radiant. I didn't even get to witness it myself, but I've just, from the things I heard he was just untouchable. So I'd have prime Radiant at the one when he was playing at his best. I'd have Rigby. Rigby, I feel like, is just kind of the best too. Like, regardless of how they look at it, like he's unselfish. He could sit back and watch the show if he needs to, or he could get involved and give the other team 30. I've watched it happen. He's a point guard at the two. When he does get the ball, he can make those split to second reads just to make everything. He could call out to the point guard what he sees that they could do. Rigby's just an animal. I love Rigby. Super chill, very easy to play with. So I'd have Rigby at the two. A lockdown, obviously I have to go with my boy Justin. Awkward. I know he's just, because I'm also going like IRL vibes as well as players. And I know Radiant's cool people. I know Rigby's a dog. Awkward Justin's is Justin. I love Justin. Like that kid is like, he doesn't even curse. He'll say what the freak, and he's just some huge like buff guy who's just grown and has every right to have the fattest ego. Back-to-back champion. As soon as he gets in his rookie year, he wins a champion. Then he just repeated it. He's just a dog. He knows how to win. He knows how to make adjustments, because it's also, that's my stage lock. I run all stage tourneys and pro-am, etc. Things like him. So I just know that he is he's an animal, and he's just a great person and very easy to play with. And he'll bring you, he'll hype you up. He'll make you feel like you're on the top of the world, but also hold you accountable in a very respectful way if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So definitely Awkward at lockdown. Power forward, I'm not too deep into like seeing power forwards, like people who are just like I haven't done too much research into just who was great, but if I can recall correctly, the best power forward was on was it the Bucks or the Hornets? Who was it? Like he was just extremely good. I'm sorry, I can't.
For this season?
This season or last season. I just know there was a very dominant power forward. I can't think of his name.
There's a few. With the power forward, it's kind of tricky because
because there's some power forwards that are great because of the situation they're in. They have to provide that much offense, and obviously with this team, offense isn't a problem. So we just have to go strictly just a great defensive power forward. And there's just so many. The power forward, I feel like there's a skill gap to what you do. What I mean, but it's limited to an extent. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's 2K. There's only so much you could do against a great point guard who knows how to make the pass.
Yeah.
But just any great power forward. There's Nudini, there's Lord Beezus, there's Idris, there's Don, there's so many just great power forwards. I can't just any great power forward, honestly. I can't think of a power forward. Obviously Nudini, the most like he has the most earnings, and like Nudini's a dog. Any top power forward, honestly, with this team, you could pull it off with. And then at the 5, I feel like you just have that special connection and that PNR, that defense that Justin. So obviously, I got to bring Ryan. I got to bring Dave Fry. I've seen firsthand he holds his team accountable. Some people realize it is toxic, but I feel like the reason me and him get along so well is because we both have that competitive drive. And when you have that much emotion and you play with you want to be great so bad, I've seen him sit there and stream long hours with me. Long after the 10s are dead, he'll go to the 1v1 court and just play against bums and just work on his game as a center, working on his ISO game. And I've seen him pull it out in big moments where it's just not expected. And those are just from the little practices when you're labbing by yourself. It's just things like that just make somebody great. And Ryan is just a dog. And I know he clicks like that with Awkward because Awkward is a dog and Awkward has that same energy and competitiveness. So I feel like with that starting 5, it's just, you can't go wrong. And as a 6th man to finish it off, put me there so I could record it all. And then, that's it. It's Prime Radiant, Prime Rigby, Awkward, any great power forward, and Ryan, Dave Fry.
Gotcha. 6th man of the year, we have you for it.
Yeah, 100%. 6th man of the year. I record it all, to hype it all up, whatever anybody needs to know, I'm there for it.
I like it. Well, Emmanuel, I want to say thank you. Appreciate you taking for your time for this interview. Do you have any last comments? Anything you want to put out for the community?
No, thank you for having me. I feel like any words, just if you want to get into pro-am, I feel like, especially if you're a competitive player, if you have the mental toughness to go through it, because it's a huge learning curve. If you're a competitive person, you want to play at the highest level. Even though I love stage with all my heart, the highest level, the hardest thing to play is pro-am. 5 people on the court, top players who know how to move, they know how to pinch, they know how to adjust to what you are comfortable doing and make you uncomfortable. Pro-am is just the most competitive gameplay. So if you feel like you're a top stage player, top park player, even if you feel like you're a top rec player, get in those leagues like WR and et cetera, and go against these top league players and really figure out where you're at. And from there, you need to go on your own journey to becoming the best if that's your end goal. And I feel like if you want to be great, you should always want to be the best. Everybody should feel like they want to be the best, but you can't be delusional and make excuses and tell yourself you're the best when you're losing. At the end of the day, the best is going to win. So if that's, even if you have to build your own team and be a leader like I'm trying to do right now, who knows, it might not be successful. We might not win anything pre-draft, but I know at the end of the day, all of us will be that much better from when we first started playing with each other. And just surround yourself with people like that. And that's it. Go for it. Be great.
Awesome. So, hey, I want to wish you good luck this rest of the pre-draft. Hope to see you in season 5. Hopefully, this will be the season that you get into the league. I think you had the right mindset and the tools. You being a content creator and having a following already, like you said, I think it will benefit any team. So wish you good luck. And then, appreciate it for your time again. And, like I said, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you.
All right.